parlay our money on our experiences with motorcycles, because for me, I was able to learn to speak with presidents of big companies and learn to sell myself, or as you said, make wise investments by capitalizing on the opportunities that were given to us through motorcycles. Motorcycles, for me, gave me the opportunity to see and experience things that only other people dream about doing, and I was getting paid to do it, and it made me more appreciative of the things that I had, but it taught me a lot of valuable lessons about people
Yes,
and
but
money.
may I say that we met again. We had seen each other since a long time because we met while you were still racing. Because on one side you had this image of crazy guy doing crazy thing gimmicks. Was it a kind of acting
Yeah.
to attract publicity?
Yeah.
And the wise, I mean, nobody knew the wise David Oldana that I met and that we discover now. Was it kind of
No,
acting,
it was.
right?
It was. It was when I had the Bones leathers and I chose number 13. And when I
yeah.
would go to the sign-up line, or I already had them psychologically wrecked. They had no chance. If they saw me coming, and they saw, they got out of the way because they knew I was going to come through there. So I had them mentally
Yes,
beat before the race even
Dominated.
started.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So.
yes.
And the manufacturers thought, if this guy is that crazy, we want him on our bike because he'll win.
So I mean,
on that bike.
the crazier you are, the more they want you to race.
Sometimes it's
Yeah,
the bad
that's
boy
right.
gets the.
Oh yes,
the-
exactly.
yeah.
The schoolmaster needs the bad boy.
But when I went home, I wore a different hat. I was,
Quiet.
well, not necessarily quiet, but I was more.
I tell you
business-
something. We're gonna surprise a lot of French guys who still remember you, and as we could see you at that time as crazy Oldana, you know, nutty guy, funny but nutty.
Well, I tried to. I didn't think about it that much, but I know that you only go around once in life, and you have to grab all the gusto you can,
Yeah,
as the expression
but
goes.
we have to speak about something. Is your I think what 81 season on the works Honda. In a way, it was kind of disaster. You fell off many times. You had this big incident in Germany where you were jailed while going to the race. So I think it was part of your image in France, because I remember that, you know, his name Jean-Louis Guillou, the manager. We heard that he had some nightmares with you before the races. Tell me about what happened in Germany.
Oh, I got in trouble with the police, and they detained me for a while. And Mr. Guillou had to come. Well, he sent some people to the jail to get me out. And I thought, oh, whew, I got away with one because I think they had to pay some sort of fine. And I didn't know it at the time, but my paycheck came every month, and it normally was a certain number. And the next month it was very, very little. They deducted my attorney fees out of my check, and I thought, oh no, that was very expensive trip to Germany.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I learned my lesson that not to do certain things.
But
but Guillou, he was a good man, but he was a military man.
Yes.
And he would tell me, attention, that I was not a clown, and this was not a circus.
Yeah,
that I had to be more
yeah,
serious.
yeah.
But
Captain
I learned,
Guillou, they used to call him.
But I learned, you know, that they drink a lot of wine with their meals. So I thought, well, I'm in France, I'll do as the French people do. So he made a thought, but that I drank too much. But he was sitting there next to me drinking with me. So I mean, it was one of those.
He was a nice
experiences.
man. He is, because
Still
he's
is.
still alive.
That's
yeah.
right, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. And we see him sometimes.
Mr. Guillou, hello. In
Hey,
case
you,
you're out
Mr.
there.
Guillou. Yes, he will look at you. Yeah, sure. But anyway, 1 hour before practice starts at that race, you are still in jail, right?
Oh, not an hour. It was a day before.
Oh, okay,
But when I
okay.
got out, I knew my job was in jeopardy. In today's, society, that would not have been accepted. But I got out, and we were leading the race actually, and we had a situation with the brakes. But as you said, we fell down a few times or had engine problems that we were able to stay, keep the bike together one time. and we both were riding really good, and we won the Suzuka 8-hour World Championship
Which
race.
was the hardest race of the year.
One of the hardest, exactly, if not the hardest. A lot of people talk about it still today, how difficult it is. And Mike Baldwin and myself, there was only 2 of us on the machine. Now I think they have up to 4 riders, and they have cool tubs and the fans and the
massage.
Yeah. In our day, you had a little Japanese fan and a bottle of water. That was it. Now they have a water in their helmet. It's like we were much stronger, and the machines were probably just as difficult to ride, but they weighed 350 pounds, and now they're carbon fiber this and trick and fast and electronic.
Let's talk
everything.
a bit about the Elf machine. You already 2 seasons, right? You enjoyed that?
Yes, and it's funny, that you bring it up again, in that when I first saw it, I saw it with the fairing off, and I looked and I could see the wheels were attached to something, and there was a motor in the middle, and I thought, what in the world is that? Little did I know, 2 years later, I was going to be riding that.
Yes.
And they sold, they came up with a lot of good ideas, and one of the ideas they came up with and sold and the patent to Honda was the what they call the banana swinging arm.
Yes.
Everything was on one side of the swinging arm.
Mono swinging
They
arm.
kept the sprocket and the rotor, rear brake rotor, on one side, so we could get, this is no joke, we could get 2 tires and about 6 gallons of gas in about 3 seconds. You didn't have a chance to breathe, to take a breath, and you were gone again. Some of the stuff that they invented or came up with, again, I mentioned the carbon fiber rotors, the swinging arm, and the problem we had with the bike, and in the straight line, it was fast. A couple times I had the fastest trap speed, and at that time in 1983, we went 185. And it was designed to go forward through the air because the car engineers designed that. And they had 6 gallons of gas on the bottom, so the center of gravity was very, very low. So when you got in a corner and it started to drift, it wouldn't straighten up and try to high side you like a regular bike with 35 pounds on top and go in that direction. It would slide real easy, and I had trouble going through fast corners. Like at Paul Ricard at the end of the straight with a long right-hand turn. It was designed to go straight in the air, but when you leaned over, the way it was designed, the air went around it, and it was like almost like an airplane wing. And to the corner, you had to stick your knee out to pull the bike in and slow you down, because it would start to, no kidding, it would move about 2 feet in the corner. And you just had to pull, you had to stick your leg out and counter steer to get it to come around. And the way they had the handlebars where your thumbs were against the exhaust pipes, because the exhaust pipes went over the top. And so it was very, very awkward, but we managed to ride it and do halfway decent. I had a really good teammate, Christian Liliard. He's passed away now, but
you passed away 2 years ago.
But was a real good rider. I think we finished 5th or something like that a couple times. But the inline 4-cylinder was becoming extinct. They were going to the V's and narrow bikes and 1,000cc 4-stroke, and it was air cooled. Things were changing, and for them to design a new Elf bike would have been too costly.
Yes. And it was not sure that any manufacturer would give Works engine again. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway.
I think
that's nice. Yeah. So, what have you been doing after you quit racing? I heard you're very keen on birds, on pigeon. Is that right?
When I was racing in Europe in the mid-'80s, I had racing pigeons when I was a little boy, and my neighbors made me get rid of them because they complained of the noise or the feathers or something. I don't really remember, but I got rid of them when I was about maybe 10 or 11 years old. And then when I was racing in Europe, I saw they had pigeon magazines. They had a lot of pigeon racing in Europe. And so when I wasn't racing, between weekends, I would go to the magazine store, buy a magazine, and read that there's a pigeon champion down the street. So I would take some pit passes from the motorcycle races to their home, and they would feed me and treat me, nice. and I would give them passes, and we made friends. And so I imported racing pigeons from Europe, England, and Belgium. I don't think from France necessarily, but I took them home. I raised them, and I competed against other pigeon fanciers. That's what they're referred to in America, and I had some good success. I proved that I could be a champion at that. I had to be a bit of a veterinarian and to treat them for coccidiosis, canker, paratyphoid. I would have necropsies done on them to make sure that their insides were clean, and I had to train them and then
Tune then even.
tune them with, for example, protein for the short races, which were 100 miles, and then carbo load them for the long races, like you would a marathon runner for a long race, which was in those days about 500 or 600 miles. And I was able to win in pigeon racing the short and the long to prove that I could do that. I did that for about 20 years.
Yeah,
And I made a little bit of money.
I should say thank you for that, because I knew it, because I knew you were doing that. And I think many French people looking at this interview will be very surprised to hear that there is racing pigeons,
Yeah.
and you've been the racing pigeon champion. And was the thrill, of racing the same with pigeon than with bikes?
With a motorcycle and you're racing the Daytona 200, that thrill lasts for 2 hours, where the pigeon's coming out of the sky from a long race, and you see it coming down and into your pigeon loft. It's maybe 20 seconds
Yeah.
instead of 2 hours. But at that little moment when they come out of the sky, you see them coming home with the desire, the training to come in for you is...
Because they knew, they understand they have to do it quickly.
Yes, well,
Wow.
they learn to do that, or instinct, for food and a home, where they know they're safe. If they had to come home to a cat, they would keep flying and not come home. So I made sure the loft was well ventilated, that they had clean water, clean food, and the right medication.
And you still have pigeons today?
I still have them, but I don't race them anymore. I built a giant aviary for them to fly around in and get in the sun. A racing pigeon, will live for almost 20 years.
All right.
But their racing is only maybe 3 to 5 years. But I cannot bring myself to get rid of them. I keep them, and they'll live to be old and like me.
Okay. Do you have motorcycles home?
Yes, I still compete. You asked what do I do these days,
Yeah.
and I had some time off with the pigeons, and I stopped that racing pigeons and got into vintage motorcycle racing. And I
right.
couldn't do both on the weekend, so I built, like I said, an aviary to lock the birds up, and I started racing a BSA B50 at some short tracks. And then they asked me for years and years, come on, David, come on, let's go ride a bike. I said, no. The one time I rode that bike, I said, when's the next race? I got the bug. So I started tuning my own motorcycles. I bought an XL 350 Honda, and I ride a 1974 Honda. I ride an old bike against old guys. And so I've been national champion in a few classes for the last 5 years.
Right.
So I stay active with motorcycles, and they made me a race director for the organization that I'm with. Not that I can change motorcycling, but I know a lot of people will come who used to race a long time ago. They come out now to race against me, and they enjoy being on the track with me. And I must give a lot of credit to the movie On Any Sunday that kept my name out in the public's eye.
Yes.
When these people come to the races, they seen the movie and they think, well, they saw the movie yesterday, and I'm supposed to be that 20-year-old person in that movie.
Yeah.
And
In
they don't
France,
realize
On
it's-
Any Sunday, the name of the movie was changed to Challenge One,
Oh, really?
because everybody understood Challenge One. You have to be number one. So it's good. So let's say a word about here at Dijon. We are Saturday evening, the main event. You've seen it today. What do you think of the place?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, to see all the people, and I've seen bikes parked in the where the spectators come, to see all of those machines, and to see all the people who can associate with, in some cases, the brand of motorcycle, the old motorcycles like I was riding, and I saw more modern bikes. For those people to come on a nice day like this and come and show their enthusiasm and their love for motorcycles is overwhelming. In America, we don't get this
kind
sort
of
of
thing,
turnout.
yeah.
You may get a lot of people to come to a race, but here there is no race. It's just a track with a lot of vendors selling certain things, but giving the people an opportunity to get on the track and ride on the track that others have raced on is something they never get a chance to experience. And to see all of them come out, and obviously we have good weather.
I saw you
It's
signing
amazing.
autographs. Have you been surprised to see so many people come in and ask you and taking pictures of you?
Yes and no. Yes, that there's so many, but there's a lot of spectators. But back home, when I ride some of the vintage races, and I go to what they call, it's American Flat Track now. It's not called AMA Flat Track. And once in a while they have a vintage event, and no kidding, the line for my autograph is longer than Jared Mees, who's the #1 guy.
Yes, because here in Dijon there was a bigger line.
Oh, yeah. I was in a booth with 3 other competitors, and we're signing autographs, and there's a line here for me and a line for someone else. And I kept looking off to the left, and there was a long line, and 2 or 3 people deep, wide and long. And I'm signing autographs. I keep looking over there, and I'm thinking, it must be Saran or Agostini or somebody over here. And I asked somebody, I said, why? Who is over here on this side signing autographs? Why is there so many people? And for all day long. And he said, it's the ice cream salesman. And they're selling ice cream. And the line for ice cream is more popular than me.
So your pride was safe. You're popular, David. You were the biggest queue.
I thought, who could be more famous than me? And it was the ice cream man. But,
Thank you so much, David.
But
Thank you for those words.
It's my pleasure and my honor. And it really is, as someone asked earlier, it's hard to find the words to describe what motorcycling has done for me and what I can do now back in return, other than I will never give my money back and the things I learned, but for me to give back in a way to be polite. You know, when we were racing before, we were in a hurry. You don't even look at whoever, you just sign your name and sign it. Where now, I sign my name, I make eye contact with the person, I shake their hand, and I want them to know that I appreciate what they're doing for me. Because without them, I would be nobody. And it's hard to find the words, like I said, but it makes me very humble to know that somebody cared about me or thought enough about me to come and ask for my autograph.
Yeah, but tell you, you should become a nice ice cream seller. You will have more success.
I'll take that under advisement.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Now,
it's been a pleasure.
No, not me. You know, we there's this kind of emotion, you know.
And he is my #1 chauffeur. But he was a little late this morning.
It's okay. Merci, Dave.
Yeah.
Au nom de tous les fans français, de ceux qui sont ici à Dijon avec nous, de ceux qui te verront sur notre site Bike 70, merci de nous avoir accordé ces petits moments. Et je sais que tout le monde appréciera.
My pleasure.
Ok.
My pleasure.
Bravo.